Hinamoto was a peaceful land until mysterious demons called Oni appeared from the sky more than 150 years ago. Many of Hinamoto's strongest warriors were killed, but those who remained continue fighting to protect Hinamoto, forming bands called Bushi. All over the land, many people pray to the strongest Oni, called Kishin, as if they were gods. In the town of Tatsuyama, a red-haired boy called Musashi thinks those people are crazy. At the mining training school, Musashi is famous for his skill and even uses an especially powerful red pickaxe. In schools all around land, it's taught that the Bushi are villains who have cruelly ruled Hinamoto until the Oni appeared. However, Musashi knows that the Bushi aren't evil and that they are fighting against the Oni for humanity's sake. When he was a child, Musashi lived with his friend, a blonde boy called Kojiro, and Kojiro's father, Jizai. Jizai brought the boys up and taught them how to fight with a sword. After Jizai told them the Bushi are protectors of Hinamoto, Musashi and Kojiro decided to form the strongest band of Bushi in the world. After school, Musashi visits Kojiro and tells him the time has come to form a Bushi band. For the past 5 years, Musashi has been developing fighting techniques and secretly training to use his pickaxe as a sword to fight against the Oni. Kojiro doesn't believe Musashi is truly ready to fight and just wants him to live a normal life, which he never could. Because Kojiro's father is the descendant of a Bushi, both of them were harassed by the townspeople their whole lives. Kojiro tells Musashi he won't join him because his father might have lied to them about the Bushi being heroes. Getting angry, Musashi leaves, promising Kojiro he will prove to him that he is serious. The next day, the mining students head to work for the first time. As soon as they arrive at the mines, they realize the Oni are monsters, and they are expected to be their slaves. Everyone is terrified, but Musashi is ready to fight the Oni. Meanwhile, Kojiro finds Musashi's diary and realizes Musashi has been seriously training to fight the whole time he was at mining school. At the mines, Musashi tries attacking one of the Oni with a pickaxe, but the Oni overpowers him easily. He keeps bravely getting up and fighting until he finally gets captured. At that moment, Kojiro arrives on a bike called a Ketetsu mount, slamming it into the Oni and saving Musashi. Having brought Musashi's red pickaxe with him, he gives it to him. Seeing how monstrous the Oni are, Kojiro realizes his father was right about them being evil. With his red pickaxe back in his hands, Musashi uses a special technique to cut one of the Oni clean in half. Seeing this, the other Oni get angry and Musashi and Kojiro fight them together. Suddenly, a red Kishin descends from the sky in a ray of light. With Musashi and Tao, Kojiro rides his bike towards the Kishin, intending to fight him. Reaching the Kishin, the boys see it's a red egg-like creature with a bird's beak. Musashi easily cuts it in half, but it quickly puts itself back together. When some of the townspeople bring the monster an offering of metal ore, the Kishin eats it and turns into a gigantic monster with 6 arms. In the commotion, Musashi and Kojiro follow the bike and Musashi loses consciousness. Grabbing Kojiro's sword, the Kishin swings him around and drags him through the dirt, but Kojiro still doesn't let go. He remembers his father told him a sword was a Bushi's pride and now he wants to protect it. After more struggling, the Kishin finally takes the sword and eats it, leaving Kojiro frustrated. Waking up, Musashi jumps onto the Kishin. Swinging his pickaxe repeatedly and dodging the Kishin's attacks, Musashi manages to open the Kishin's stomach and return Kojiro's sword back to him. With renewed passion, Kojiro decides to follow his ancestors' path and form a Bushi band with Musashi after all. Flying through the air, a huge fortress appears and countless Bushi-riding Ketetsu mounts descend from it. The Bushi are part of the Takeda band and their leader approaches Musashi and Kojiro, telling them the Kishin is still alive. At that moment, the Kishin regenerates and attacks once again, while the Takeda band fights back. The Kishin, angrier than ever, starts shooting red flames, but Musashi rushes towards him anyway, determined to beat him before anyone else. Seeing him, Maotora, a golden-eyed young man who is the Takeda band's leader, brings Musashi back to his camp. He tells him there is no way just one person can defeat a Kishin and that she should stop being so reckless. However, Musashi frees himself with raw strength and runs towards the Kishin again. Flying in the sky, countless Bushi from the Takeda band bring their magic together, while others restrain the Kishin with magic ropes. At that moment, Musashi hits the ground with his pickaxe, causing an avalanche that topples the Kishin, but also completely ruins the Bushi's attack. Having overheard that the Kishin's weakness is its horn, Musashi attacks it but breaks his pickaxe on it. Suddenly, Naotora appears and easily cuts the horn in half, finally killing the Kishin. As the Kishin dies, the Takeda band absorbs its energy and celebrates their victory. Kojiro is impressed, but Musashi is frustrated because they stole his glory. After the battle, Naotora approaches the two boys and tells Musashi he likes people who have guts and speak their mind, but Musashi is still angry at him. Natsuri gives Musashi a large purple crystal, and the whole Takeda band leaves while laughing at him. Examining the crystal, Musashi and Kojiro realize is a device that shows the locations of various other Kishin. Reading one of his father's scrolls he brought with him, Kojiro finds out there are more than 100 Kishin in Hinomoto. They read that the Bushi's duty is slaying all the Kishin so that humanity can retake their world. When all Kishin are slain, the land will be unified and its unifier will become the new king of Hinomoto. Sometime later, Musashi and Kojiro leave Tatsuyama and go on a journey to find Kishin. A week later, the two boys are hungry and sick of traveling, having ran out of food. They stop by a river, but soon get attacked by a green-haired girl who wants to rob them. Having beaten Kojiro up, she fights Musashi, but soon realizes he is strong. Taking out two magical blades, she prepares to attack again, but when she hears a horn sounding in the distance, she steals the boys' Kitetsu mount and runs off somewhere. The girl arrives at a fortress where the Kosameda Bushi band resides. She reports to the band's captain, a green-haired man called Hideo. When he praises her for stealing the boy's bike, she is overjoyed. Soon, Musashi and Kojiro arrive at the same fortress. Inside, the green-haired girl cheerfully welcomes them and shows them around. It turns out there is a whole town inside the fortress. The girl, called Tsugumi, admits her whole family was killed by Oni while she was a child, but she considers the Kosameda band her family now. She became a Bushi because her older sister's dream was uniting the land and protecting its people. When Musashi tells her he is the same as her and has no family, Tsugumi takes a liking to him. Thinking Musashi and Kojiro are experienced Bushi, Hideo invites them for a feast. Talking to them, he notices they don't even know what Kitetsu is and realizes they are useless to him. Hideo changes his demeanor entirely and orders Tsugumi to capture Musashi and Kojiro. After locking the boys up, Hideo cruelly scolds Tsugumi for failing to bring powerful Bushi to him. He tells her he will have to mobilize the entire town when the Oni attack again, and Tsugumi is horrified, since all of the townspeople are either children or the elderly. Tsugumi returns to Musashi and Kojiro and explains to them that Kitetsu is the iron sand that Oni release when they die. Since Kitetsu has magical properties, Bushi use it to fight Oni. Tsugumi tells the boys that a herd of wild Oni is headed to the castle soon, and Musashi notices there is something wrong with her. He tells her she should speak up if there is something bothering her, but she gets angry at him and runs off. After she leaves, Kojiro manages to steal a key to their prison cell and break out together with Musashi. They find their Kitetsu mount, but also see a horde of creepy Oni in the distance. Meanwhile, Hideo orders Tsugumi to give the townspeople swords and mobilize them into battle. However, this time Tsugumi speaks up, telling him she is against his decision. Looking at her with disgust, Hideo threatens to cast her out of his band if she doesn't listen to him. After Hideo leaves, Tsugumi remembers her sister was treated the same way while she was alive and realizes Hideo has been abusing them their entire lives. While she is struggling with her feelings, Musashi and Kojiro break into the castle with their bike. Taking her with him, Musashi gives Tsugumi courage by telling her she isn't useless and stupid as Hideo wants to make her think she is. At the town square, Hideo has gathered the townspeople to mobilize them against the Oni, but they are inexperienced and scared. Suddenly, Tsugumi throws a smoke bomb and distracts Hideo while Musashi and Kojiro defeat his guards. However, even when the guards are defeated, the townspeople don't want to leave. They are scared of Hideo punishing them if they run away, so they don't know what to do. Tsugumi realizes she has to defeat Hideo in order to make the townspeople stop being scared of him. More guards appear and try to drag the townspeople away into battle, but Musashi and Kojiro fight them. Tsugumi fiercely fights Hideo, but he has the upper hand at first. Determined to win, Tsugumi gets up and spits in Hideo's face. She activates her blade's magic and dodges the magic arrows Hideo is shooting at her. In the end, she manages to tie Hideo up and slam him against the floor. Seeing Hideo defeated, the townspeople listen to her and run away outside of the fortress. When the Oni invade the fortress, Tsugumi realizes she can't run away in time. She waits for her death, but Musashi and Kojiro appear and rescue her. After the Oni's attack, the castle is completely demolished, but the townspeople are happier than before. When Tsugumi realizes she might let herself be manipulated by Hideo again and put in a situation where she might hurt the townspeople, she reluctantly decides to leave the fortress. In order to get stronger, she joins Musashi and Kojiro's band. The next day, Musashi and his friends leave the fortress, and Tsugumi promises that she will return and visit the townspeople again. Using his Oni-detecting crystal, Musashi finds a blue Kishin ahead and decides to pursue it. While they are taking a break, Tsugumi is unusually clingy towards Musashi. But Musashi doesn't fall for her charms because he only likes older women. Still, he doesn't want Kojiro to be jealous of Tsugumi's treatment of him and starts panicking. It turns out Tsugumi was just trying to make friends with them, but didn't know how, and both boys are relieved when they hear that. They tell her they will gladly become friends, and the three of them start getting along better. That night, while everyone except Musashi is sleeping, a small Oni steals Kojiro's sword. Running after the Oni, Musashi does his best to smash its horn, but can't do it. After a while, they reach a field full of swords sticking out of the ground. In the field, a hooded man offers him one of the swords and Musashi takes it. However, as soon as Musashi touches the sword, black stone spikes start sprouting from his body. Somehow managing to control the sword after all, Musashi uses it to fire a flying sword slash at the Oni, defeating it in one strike. However, after absorbing the Oni's Kitetsu, the sword falls apart. Impressed by Musashi's strength, the mysterious man gets interested in him. A woman with a foxtail arrives and takes him with her, leaving Musashi surprised. After Musashi rejoins his friends and tells them what happened, Tsugumi explains that the sword he was using was a Kitetsu blade. Her dual swords are also Kitetsu blades, and she says that an Oni's horn can't be broken without such a sword. Since Kitetsu blades can be bought at markets for Bushi, Musashi and Kojiro decide to go shopping. Visiting a restaurant, the three of them think of what their Bushi band's name would be and who would be the leader. Musashi immediately says he is fine with Kojiro being the leader, and Kojiro is flattered. Arriving at the market, the three of them visit a Kitetsu blade auction. There, Musashi meets a silver-haired woman called Mitsuru, who gives him advice on choosing a sword. Musashi chooses a large red and black sword, while Kojiro chooses a long and elegant one. Taking his chosen sword in his hand, Musashi feels energy flowing through his body. At Kitetsu blade auctions, the blade chooses its master by testing his potential. Kojiro also grasps his sword and successfully passes the test, gaining a blue aura. Depending on the aura emanating from a Kitetsu blade user, the blade has different powers. While holding his sword, Musashi sees Kojiro's father getting killed by the people of his village. Inside a strange room, he sees an iron-colored girl who feels familiar to him. She hugs him and turns into a monster. In the outside world, Musashi's aura becomes black stones start growing on his body, and his sword falls to the ground. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.